Welcome to Hate to Weight, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We are not doctors. We don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because misery loves company.
Hello, Emily.
Hello, John.
So, remember when I told you I was going to the doctor's the day after we recorded the last episode?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. And I know you talked about it on Brilliant Observations, too. And it's weird when you listen to a podcast and you hear somebody mention something that you know about and you're like, no, talk more about that because I know about that. Go, go, go. And then you just went off on something else.
Yeah, it's funny. I am part of 4 other podcasts.
Yeah.
And other people listen to them. And then some people can't even listen. Like I have my own podcast where, it's more guy centric and we talk about guy things and some women can't handle it. And I tell them, just don't listen. You don't have to. I know we're guys over there. We're being guys and
people aren't going to agree with everything that you say, and not just you, but I mean everybody in the world. Not everybody is going to agree with everybody. There are things that I say that people are like, What?
Oh, please. You're the most agreeable person in the world.
That is like my public face, but inside I'm just like,
well, we don't know that. We don't know that side of you.
No, that side is just like, oh my God, tea tastes like dirt water.
I see.
Please don't offer me tea. If you offer me tea, I will judge you so hard.
So I have seen the other side of you a couple times on this show.
You get snippets.
I get
during
snippets
Shark Week.
of it, yes.
That's not always like my inner monologue, but it's more just like that's what comes out all of a sudden.
Yes. So I go to the doctor's and I had blood work done. And I have to go back in 2 weeks. So I always say, well, listen, if they don't call you right after, you get when they get the results back, if they don't call you right away, you're usually pretty good. Everything's pretty good. So I'm sitting there Monday morning, 9:30, the phone rings and it's the doctor. I'm like, damn.
Oh boy.
What's going on? So I pick up the phone and I go, how bad? And they're like, Mr. Buchanan? And I'm like, yeah. How bad are the results? Am I dying? And they're like, no, you're not. Well, everybody's dying, but no, you're not dying. You have a very low vitamin D. You're very low in vitamin D.
You know where vitamin D comes from, right?
The sun.
The sun. And guess what you're going through in the winter?
Right.
You're going through seasonal affective disorder.
And also one of the things that I've cut out is dairy.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because there's cheese, but like I used to drink milk and milk is fortified. A lot of times it's fortified with vitamin D. So I cut that out of my diet. And so then I went back and I looked for the symptoms of it.
We'll have a link in our show notes because I want to read about these symptoms too.
So the first one is getting sick or infected often. Well, I really don't have that issue. Second one, fatigue and tiredness. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with this. I'm having a hard time staying focused. I'm having a hard time, I'm just constantly tired. As I edit podcasts, I fall asleep in the middle of editing. I wake up, I'm like, now where am I at? Now I got to go back to where I remember.
That's scary. Yeah. I had a client send me back something. She's like, oh, can you take out this cough you missed? I'm like, how did I miss this cough?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the third thing is bone and back pain. And I've had lower back pain for a long time. Like when I get up in the morning, it takes me an hour to just stretch it out, move it around. Mm-hmm. The fourth thing is depression. Mm-hmm. There you go. Fifth thing is impaired wound healing. Well, I really haven't had a wound to heal.
Go ahead, cut yourself, just to see how long it takes to heal.
I think I'll take their word for it.
Yeah.
This one, bone loss, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't like that. 7, hair loss. Have you seen me without a hat? And then 8, muscle pain, which I'm going through. So, yeah, this could be an issue. Now, what they did was they gave me a prescription for vitamin D. I take once a week. I'm like, once a week? So I took it just the other day, and I don't know if it's making a difference yet. It'll probably take a little while.
What is it? Just a pill?
It's a little blue pill, not the one that you're thinking of, but it's the little blue pill, and it's like 50,000 IUs of vitamin D. And you're supposed
I wonder if anybody else calls the other little blue pill my vitamin D pill.
Oh, could be. I need my vitamin D pill. All right. Maybe that's where they got the little blue pill from.
Maybe they were just like, people will associate.
One with the other.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have that. And then the other thing was that they said I was pre-diabetic.
Well, you've known that for a while.
Yeah,
right?
but my number was a little bit higher than it normally is. Normally it runs around anywhere between 115 to 119. And this time it was like 123. So it's creeping up. So they said, well, go on a low carb diet and exercise more. So I was like, okay, I'll try that.
So doctors are actually pushing low carb now?
Well, I don't know if they're pushing it, but they said go on a lower carb diet. Try to cut out as much sugar as you can.
Yeah, because I never know, like, if doctors, how well they go with the trends. Because I hear stories of, oh, my doctor loves intermittent fasting. And then other doctors who are just like, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, remember last week I was in the throes of sugar because I was like sneaking those 10 little Dunkin' Munchkin glazed, lovely pieces of heaven. And so I was, I don't know what, I guess my body, I don't know. I was just running amok. We've talked about that. I ran amok.
Amok.
Exactly. So I was reining it in the process of reining it in this weekend, changing things over, cooking more, and, no fast food, no out eating fast food. So I won maybe 2 slip ups this week, since last week, which to me that's a big, big win. So then when I went to get on the scale today, I was really surprised. And we'll get into that later. But basically that's my week. So I guess what if I'm having issues, you just can't go to the internet for issues. Every once in a while, you might actually have to see a real doctor.
Yeah. And hopefully you don't go when I guess too late would be death, but you always have time to at least make it a little better.
Yeah. So I was, like I said, and I'm a hypochondriac. Other people in my family were having other issues with health. And every time they're telling me that, I was like, I got that. I have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was once reading a list of PMS symptoms to an ex-boyfriend, and he's like, I have that. I have that. And I'm like, why are you saying this? He didn't hear me say these are PMS symptoms. He thought I found something on WebMD and I was just reading it off. He's like, oh my God, I have whatever you're talking about. What is it? Is it cancer? I'm like, no, it's PMS, dumbass.
Well, my famous PMS joke is that women get PMS, but men suffer from it.
Yes.
That's not my joke. I heard it from someone. It's so old, I can't even remember. I think Moses told it, to be quite honest with you. He's coming down.
The 11th
He's coming down from the mountain with the
"Thou shalt leave women alone."
That was on the 15. There was actually 15 commandments.
15. And he dropped one.
One of the tablets dropped and broke, and we always say that's the one that was on there. Mm-hmm. So, how was your week?
I am so happy about this week. I did yoga for an entire month. I had my calendar up, my printed calendar up, and I was checking off boxes every single day, and it felt so good. And at the end of, seeing that I got from the 16th of January to the 16th of February, just all those X's in a row, it felt amazing. I'm really noticing just every single day with yoga, even though it doesn't feel like I'm getting stronger, if I compare one day to the very last day, the day before, I don't feel stronger from that one day. But I realized that I'm so much more flexible now than I was a month ago. I'm more inclined to get on the floor with the kids now because of yoga. You're like up, down, on the floor, doing downward dog, up and down. Before it was like, oh my gosh, if something's on the floor, it is so far away. I don't want to bend over and get it. Oh my God, the kids want me to play on the floor. All right, once I'm on the floor, I'm not moving for 30 minutes. I'm not getting back up. And now I'm like popping up and down and up and down.
See, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And even when I think about this time last year, so my office where I work is downstairs in the basement. And I used to have to bargain with myself to go back up downstairs. It's like, okay, I'm going downstairs and I'm bringing everything with me. If I forget something, it's staying upstairs. And now it's like I bound up and down those stairs. It's like, oh, I forgot my water. I got to go get my water. Do. It's fine. And it's so nice to realize that, to look back and to see where I've been and those tiny little things. It's like I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to do yoga because I wanted to lose weight, because I wanted to get into smaller clothes, because I wanted to look cuter in pictures. That really doesn't, it doesn't really, I don't know, affect me as much as the fact that I can get on the floor and play with my kids now. And it's not a chore. It's not a chore to me. It's like, oh, you want me down here? Yeah, sure. Because I know I can pop right back up. Oh, you need me to get something upstairs? Yeah, sure. Like, these are the tiny little victories that I love celebrating.
Non-scale victories, absolutely.
Yeah.
And see, I'm where you were. I'm still where I take everything down in a basket. Like I bring a basket down here, which would have water and snacks, or, because if I know I'm going to be down here when my window opens, I'm not going back upstairs. And then once I go back upstairs, I'm not running back and up and down the steps. Although I have to say, I do now have a diet buddy.
Oh, yeah?
I did drag. Well, I shouldn't say drag. Samantha offered to join me in a intermittent fasting, lower carb diet.
Yay.
And yes, I'm really happy about that. And then the second thing is, like she said to me, why don't you get up intermittently during the day and see, because if I go up here, I have like 5 steps up to a platform, then I can go outside from down in the podcast dungeon. And then there's steps that go up to the second level. And then I could take them, and then I could come back and go down the steps to here. And then that could be like a circuit. So it's almost like it's a circuit. So like do that a couple times and see how long it takes, or, get better at it and get stronger at it. So I'm working at that. So that's a good thing. And it's nice, at the end of the day to kind of talk to somebody. How'd you do? A daily kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice.
That was one of the things when I was working with Harriet, who we had on 2 episodes ago. She had daily check-ins, and you set a goal with her every day, and you had to check in to make sure that you did it. And it really was effective. I mean, this is great because we have the podcast every week to catch up with each other, but there's something about daily. And that's the same thing with me and my to-do lists. I've read about this, where when you make lists and you check something off, that endorphin, that chemical in your brain, releases, and you are so happy about it. That's actually, if you use Asana for your calendar, they'll show little animations, and they say that. They're like, if you check something off, you get a little burst of happiness. So it's great to be able to check stuff like that off, having daily check-ins, even putting on a list, and doing the thing of crossing off every single day on the calendar.
Yeah, that is true. And I see if you're not following Emily on Instagram, you got to go follow her, because she's a great follower. She does fantastic Instagram stories. And I see you're writing your list in green ink. Is it green ink?
I've read it in all different colors. It depends on the day.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the ones I've seen, and she's got to check, she makes little boxes for her water, and there's a couple other little boxes in there. I'm like,
I have to put boxes for brushing my teeth too. And I've gotten into the habit of brushing my teeth as soon as my window is closed. So it sounds so weird that I have to brush my teeth on my to-do list, but it's like, no, this closes my window at the end of it.
Yeah, because I do work better from lists. My thing is, it's just getting up and having to write them. So what I have done is I have the app on my phone, which is Google Tasks, and then I'll open it up and I use the voice to text button, and I'll just say it. So it does work, because all of a sudden I'll be sitting here thinking, and all of a sudden I'll pop in my head. If I don't write it down immediately, it comes in my head and exits.
Are you using Google Assistant on your phone of just, hey, I don't want to remind me for...
I haven't really. Well, how do you use it?
I activate it and I say, hey, Google, remind me at 6 p.m. to do this. And it pops up if you have a Google Home, which I have. I have the Home, I have the Hub, I have the mini one. It'll give you a little notification light that pops up on the actual Google Home thing. Okay. And it also will pop up a notification on your phone, because you have the Google Pixel too.
Right.
And it'll pop up at that point. So it's nice. It's really
I would love
convenient.
it if I could use that assistant to populate my to-do list. Like,
you can't. Well, we use it for a shopping list.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you can do something similar there.
I'll have to dig into it more.
Yeah.
I like it because it helps me. It really does help me when I have these things set. And I also have be down in the basement at so-and-so time. Because if not, I'll procrastinate. Mm-hmm. I wish, and I'm sure there's an app for this. I can guarantee there is, that when you wake up from 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock, it turns off all your social media so you can't get to it on your phone.
Oh, I'm sure there's an app for
It's got to
that.
be. And then, although I would go through withdrawal, like
Yeah.
real withdrawals, but I think it's a good idea.
I've also found that I will easily get addicted to, it's like my thumb has a circuit of social media apps on my phone. It goes to Twitter. It opens up Twitter. It sees if there are any notifications. It looks through the feed for a bit, closes Twitter, goes to Facebook, does the same thing, then goes to Instagram, does the same thing. When I'm done with all three of those, I go back to Twitter because maybe something has changed in those 2 minutes that I've been off of Twitter. And I get into that cycle and I have to stop myself. And I actually set a timer last night. I was like, I'm putting my phone down for 45 minutes and I'm not going to touch it. And it was when I was making dinner. So, of course, I had to go to my phone to look up a recipe. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't count because I'm just going to look up a recipe. I'm just going to go to Google. The nice thing with the Google Pixel is the little search bar is right at the bottom of your home screen. So I didn't even have to open up anything, which helped out. But I get into that cycle and it's bad. So, people, if you see me on like all the social media all at once, could you just ask, hey, Emily, take a break?
Oh, I would never do that. It's because like maybe some days you're just like you've had so much and you just want to veg out with a little social media
Yeah.
because you've had a rough day. And then you have somebody come on and say, hey, maybe you want to take a break from social media. You'd be like, you know what? Why don't you shut up? Why don't you let me
It's so true. If
right?
you catch me on the wrong day,
Yeah,
all right,
you
I take that back. Don't tell me to get off social media. Because if you catch me on certain days, maybe I'll just put a shark next to my name on all the social media things to be like, don't, no.
Yeah. I think that because there's sometimes where, these apps, they dime me out. They tell everybody you're on.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like to snoop. I want to snoop around, and I don't want people to know that I'm on because then they say, well, what are you doing on here? I thought you were doing this.
That's true. I know. You know what
This has got
happened?
dined out.
I was actually late for something the other night. I was late for the mastermind that we're in because I was putting Cam to bed, but yet I was on Facebook while I was late and I commented on a post and I'm like, they're going to see that and be like, wait, she said she was running late because she was putting Cam to bed. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on Facebook while he's in the bath. Sorry.
Again, why do you have to apologize for doing whatever?
I know. I don't know. I think it's so weird just because we grew up without this stuff
Mm-hmm.
and we're still kind of figuring out how it works and how it fits into society. And I feel like I think younger people, my daughter, she sees it and it's just now part of her world. I'm still apologizing for all the weird stuff. Like, I don't know how to use this thing.
There is certain. I guess I was listening to a podcast with it was Joe Rogan, and he was on with the guy from Twitter, and
Oh, yeah.
and there was a point where they were talking about all the things that you do with Twitter, and I was like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. So just being able to jump into an app for a little while and just giving it a test drive and then kind of putting it through its paces, I think that's kind of a cool thing.
Now, I think it's also interesting if we relate it back to dieting. These apps that are brand new to us, this is like us learning how to eat healthy for the first time when we've been eating crap our whole lives, but yet other people have just lived eating well and they don't understand, like, well, why are people overweight? I don't understand. Why don't they just eat healthy? It's like, because we have to learn. We don't know.
I also think that there's a different subset on what your metabolism's like, whether it's, sometimes I think it's genetic. Some of it's genetic.
Oh, yeah. A lot of it's all.
Because I know there's a friend of mine, he eats more than I do and he eats crappy and he's I could punch him in the face. He's so skinny. I could actually just punch him. Like we'll sit there and he's like eating his fourth slice of pizza and I'm like, you're not even full. I'm over here, noshing on a salad. He's eating 4 slices of pizza. I was like, I want to punch him right in the face.
To be fair, pizza's one of those foods that I can't get full on. It's really hard for me to feel satiated with pizza. I'll just keep eating if nobody takes it
Really?
away.
Well, trust me, I've tried. I can get full on pizza because there's only so much of that you can really eat.
I think I don't want to test this. No, I shouldn't test this. I shouldn't even entertain the thought of testing how much pizza I could eat before I get full.
Well, I'm dying to try those gigantic new Oreos with all the stuffing, all the cream in the center.
Uh-huh.
I'm dying because I love Oreos. And I really have to fight myself not to go buy a bag of those. because it's very easy to do for me.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, what am I going to do with these? So I'm like, okay, we don't, you know what? If you don't try it, you don't know. You don't know what you're missing. So, hey, you're talking about Twitter. I wonder how many of our members in our group have a Twitter.
I was wondering that because we do have Hate to Wait on Twitter, and I usually post the new episodes there. I don't really post as much, but if you guys want to message us on Twitter, I do check it and I do get the notifications. So we are on Twitter if you want to check us out there. The nice thing about the Facebook group, though, is it's very private. And I know people, me especially, for a long time, it's like, and we talked about this many episodes ago, it was like I didn't want people to know I was dieting because then it would be me admitting that I was fat and I needed to diet. Whereas you could just look at me and say, oh, she needs to diet. And I was just like, no. But if I don't admit that I'm dieting or that I'm looking at weight loss, it means I don't have a problem. And that was really scary. Another thing I wanted to mention, going back to Brilliant Observations, I was listening to you guys on that, and you were saying to Melissa how she is an all or nothing person. And I think that's really interesting when you look at dieting, because you were talking about the dieting. She is either, I will not have any dessert for the day, or none of this, I will only eat healthy. Well, at that point, she was talking about her finances and just like, I'm just going to spend money on food. And she really is an all or nothing person. And I feel the same way. I agree with Melissa in a lot of those. All right, I need to hunker down. I need to lose weight. And I feel like I've been getting out of that mentality and getting into a more balanced way of, all right, I have my 8 hours. As long as I do that, I'll be happy. If I want to step it up a bit, maybe I'll add some vegetables to stuff. Maybe I'll get a salad instead of a burger today. So what kind of a person are you when it comes to dieting? Are you all or nothing, or have you gotten...
Yeah, I am an all or nothing. And then the other thing is I'm a backslider. I'm a slow backslider. Like,
Yeah.
I go all crazy and then I go in. And then the other thing I do is I'm always tweaking. Like in podcasting, remember I said, oh yeah, you know what? I'm adding sweet potatoes and I'm adding fruit.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, no more sweet potatoes, no more fruit. And then I'll say, okay, well, I'm only going to eat these foods and I'm not going to do anything else. And to be honest with you, so one of the problems of coming off of sugar is you are constantly hungry. When you are, you are constantly hungry. So instead of like just starving myself or going through all that, I was just like, well, I'm just going to eat something that's like more protein, I'm going to have some chicken or I'll have, some eggs, or I'll have a bigger breakfast so that I don't have that. And that's what I've been doing all week. So it's really tough. I'm a tweaker. I'm a backslider. When I start on something, I go crazy at it, but then I slowly fall off the pace until I'm so far behind I could stop and nobody really notices I'm gone.
Well, and the other thing, when you go so much to the extreme of, okay, that's it, none of this, and you don't notice that you're backsliding a bit, all of a sudden you may get an opportunity. So maybe a $75 cheesecake comes into your life and you're like, well, this only happens once in a blue moon and I've been so good for so long. What harm could this do? But you've already been backsliding and you don't notice. That's what happens to me too, is I will backslide and then go right into just downhill.
And remember how I said that I only weigh myself right before I come down here. Mm-hmm. And, when I first started doing that, I was having great results. And now I'm not. So I'm like, well, something has to change. Maybe I need to start weighing myself every other day or 2 times a week, or I don't know. But I mean, right now I'm spiraling, but I don't want to get into that as much until that. So why don't we do the Winning Wednesdays?
Okay. Yes.
Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday, Winning Wednesday.
Brittany started my diet last Wednesday, and today I weighed in 10 pounds down. Wow. Was a good week.
That is a good week. Brandy said, I've lost the weight I gained last week, which was really great. So this week I'm going back to my goal of getting out of the 300s. That's 5 pounds to get to 299.
Yay! Oh my goodness. New numbers are the best. Not no. See, I feel weird saying that now because we shouldn't put that much of a pressure on weight loss, but I still like celebrating it. I'm
There's nothing wrong
sorry.
with celebrating it. There's nothing wrong.
Okay. Ingrid, finally seeing progress. I'm down 4.4 pounds. Yay!
We had a benchmark time trial to see how far we could walk, run. They do this periodically so you can see your progress at the gym today. I jogged for the first time in 3 years. Wow, that is great. I was able
Yeah.
to jog at 4.5 miles for 8 of the 12 minutes. Next
Wow.
time, my goal will be to jog the entire time. Normally, I'm a walker.
And that's Autumn who sent that in.
Yes.
Julianne said she's down to 1 crutch and moving. Congratulations, Julianne. Julianne had knee surgery, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering if she was going to say anything after we talked about the knee replacement last week, but I'm glad that she's up and moving.
Yeah,
That is
that's
great.
fantastic.
Brandon said weight has been hovering in the 5-pound range for the last 6 weeks. Finally started going down again this week at the lowest weight since making this lifestyle change.
Yay! Jessica said, started tracking my food again using my Fitness Pal. Oh, fantastic.
And Jason Bryan, no victory here, +6, mostly retaining all the fluids I didn't have last week.
You know what, though? You're getting more fluids in. I would say that's a win.
And here's the other thing. You came in and owned it, so that's a win.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
All right. It's an odd week. And for anyone who doesn't know, because I know we go back and forth, we say like, oh, it's an even week. It's an odd week. We actually have numbers on our episodes, but we normally don't refer to the numbers. But this one is episode 43. It's an odd number. And I have an odd number of letters in my name, so I get to go first this week. And I am down 2 pounds. I'm down the 2 pounds I gained last week. Yay! Which always happens with Shark Week. But I also, last week during Shark Week, I let soda creep back into my life. And it became a daily friend. And on Sunday or Monday, I weighed myself and I was up 4 pounds. And I was like, oh, this is unacceptable. And all I did was stop drinking soda. And it's been hard. How is it I go for months, maybe 2 months, maybe a few weeks without soda? And then as soon as it comes back into my life, it's like, hello. Oh, remember me? It's like those terrible on and off boyfriends you can't get rid of. No
Hello,
soda.
old friend. How have you been?
Yes. It's
Miss
like,
me?
yeah. It's like soda will text me, you up? It's like, God damn it.
What are you wearing?
Yeah, exactly.
So is it regular soda or diet soda?
Okay, I switched to regular soda because I got sick of the taste of diet. I've
Oh.
been a diet soda person my whole life, and I got sick of the taste of it. And I also noticed that the fake sugar in it made me crave real sugar a lot more than just drinking a Coke.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, well, again, you're going through the same thing. You're trying to get off the sugar. So you're
Yeah.
having all those same reactions, those same withdrawals that I was going through last week. You were having soda. I was having little Dunkin' Munchkins.
Yeah.
Same
soda,
kind of thing.
Oh my goodness. It's like I was fine without soda. I wasn't thinking about soda. I was enjoying my water, but there was one day I didn't get enough sleep and I didn't want to make coffee. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just have a soda. So I'll have a Coke with my meal. And I ordered a Coke and I was like, oh, I forgot how good this is. And then, of course, it was Shark Week where I'm just like, comfort me. I just want everything to comfort me. And soda comforts me. Soda understands me. It's like this toxic relationship that I need to get out of because I have a perfectly good relationship with water. And water makes me feel so good. And I can't just go and stay with that. I have to cheat on water with terrible soda.
Well, the problem is water's good for you. Water puts you in a good place. Water's not toxic. Water's not crazy.
And I do things to my water that makes it even better for me. I put it through a filter. I add trace minerals to it. It tastes really good. But at the same time, I'm still like, oh, but soda, you sexy bitch.
Right. Water is a nice guy with a good job that does all the right things.
Yes,
And
exactly.
Soda is a bad boy. He smokes cigarettes. He occasionally drinks too much.
But he calls me doll face and makes me feel pretty for 5 minutes before he,
Yeah, then he
ruins
just leaves
my
you.
life.
Yeah, exactly. Then he gets you. Next thing you know, he's dragging you into his horrible lifestyle.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
needs that? You're
That's
right.
what I need. I need to start putting faces on water and soda. I need to put human faces of the ex I couldn't get rid of that was very toxic for me. Well, actually, I don't want to put that meanness out there. I'm very happy that we are no longer in each other's lives. I'm not even talking about my
Hold
ex-husband.
it.
I'm talking
Stop.
about like an ex.
You can't even be mean to people that were mean to you. I say, you know what? You put the face of that guy on there. You say, you know something, Soda? You're a dick. All right? And then it's like, why would I want that when I can come over here and I have the stability of water? Water cares about me. Water loves me. Why do I need to do that? Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. You know what? For sugar now on, I'm putting all the faces of the crazy broads that I dated that broke my heart, that wrecked my things.
Do we need
Yes.
to print out pictures of our exes and put it on all the foods we're not supposed to eat? And then take pictures of our current loves and put them on the foods we should be eating?
Yeah, exactly. Ah,
Well, there's a diet system. There we go. We just came up with a brand new diet, everyone. It's called the X diet.
all right. So for me, I'm up 5 pounds. And I think it is me getting off sugar. And to be honest with you, I think what I'm doing is I'm actually eating more good food, more food that I'm cooking because I'm trying to fight off these cravings and everything. So maybe that's why I'm up. Everything else I seem to be doing right. I seem to be staying in my window. But, there are some leaks. And I told you there's some backslides and there's some things that I could do better for next week. So I've been on a 3-week gain. I think I'm up like 10 pounds in the past 3 weeks. This is not good. This is not good at all. This is making me really, really nervous. The problem is I can't get, I'm here. I have a podcast now and I have to come back every week.
You have to answer for it.
Right now I got to turn this shit around. I got to come back and start getting back on the horse. I think that, some of this idea of exercising, just a little bit more exercising here and then getting off of sugar, eating a more low carb diet, I think that we'll spin around, but we'll see. So, and I am definitely going to start weighing myself more because I can't just get on the scale and go, oh my God.
You know what I will say, though? I've gotten down to weighing myself twice a week now, and it's been
Sunday, right?
Yep.
Sunday?
Yeah,
After
Sunday,
the weekend.
Monday.
How much
or
damage have I
Thursday.
done?
And you know what? I was thinking about what you were saying about how when you were weighing yourself and you saw a higher number for a few days, and then you did, I guess, bad things. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of a better word than bad, but things you probably shouldn't be doing.
Things that will make the scale drop for the short term,
Right.
but not the long term. Not drinking, not eating,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
And I found myself getting into that trap too. I wouldn't drink water until I got on the scale, and I wouldn't get on the scale until I did my yoga. And I do my yoga with my husband and I wait for him to work out. So sometimes I wake up and I don't have water for 4 hours. And I'm like, this sucks. I
Yeah.
need this water. I need this in the morning. So you know what? I'm just not even going to care. I'm just going to get on the scale in the morning, have my water, do my yoga, and deal with that number. That's the number I'm going to work from now on. I'm like,
Yeah.
still
So,
go to the bathroom. That's fine. But yeah, I noticed I was doing the same thing. As soon as you kind of brought that to my attention, that once we see that number, it affects how we go through the rest of our day or through the rest of the next few days.
right.
Got to get out of that.
Or the other thing is, like, you see it and you're like, "Pfft, this is worthless. I mean, this is useless. I might as well just go back to, you just talk yourself. Screw it. I'm done. I've had enough. And then you just completely just kick everything to the curb. Like a child, I throw a temper tantrum.
I will say, if anybody ever feels that way, where they're just ready to just give up, they've seen that number on the scale, come into the group. Come let us know. We have so much support in this group. I miss posts now because there's so much support for people, and I'll see something that's posted yesterday that's really great or a really good story from people, and I'm like, oh, I love this. What was the thing I tagged you in that we talked about?
You know I have no memory. Why are you
I
doing this?
know. I don't know why I asked you. But I know I tagged you in something
You
the other
did,
day.
and I
I'm
went
just
to read it, and I can't remember what it was. I did read it, but I can't remember what it was. Ugh.
the app. There was an app that somebody in our Facebook group saw an ad for, And what happened was, so she clicked on the app, she, I guess, signed up. And what you have to do is you have to send a picture in your underwear. And unfortunately, then you get put into this Facebook group of hundreds of people, and your picture is just put out there
in your underwear.
Yes.
Oh, I'd be fuming. I'd be furious.
Oh. And she told me the app too. I'll have the
Yeah, don't get this
I
app.
don't want to put the link in the show notes, but I will put in the show notes, like, not this app.
Don't
Do not
use this
do this
app
if you don't want to post pictures of yourself in your underwear to 1,200 people.
Which makes me really wonder, because there's sometimes where when you first start a diet or something like that, you always take the before pictures, and I was in this one program and they said to me, you got to take pictures, and then you got to take, just in a pair of shorts, take pictures with no shirt on. I said, no, I'm not doing that. And the guy goes, you have to. I said, I only have to do two things in this, just, pay taxes and, not die. They're the two things I have to do. I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
I said, if this is what I have to do, then I'm out. There's a deal breaker for me. I'm not putting my moves on film so everybody can sit there and look at me. That's ridiculous.
I understand that some people need that sort of shame aspect to push them into losing weight, but not me. And I don't necessarily think it's healthy for anybody. I get that people really want to do it and they need those kicks in the butt to do it. If it works for you, that's fantastic. I just don't want losing weight or dieting to seem like something that I was tortured to do.
Well, people that have been doing this their whole lives, there comes to a certain point where shaming doesn't work because we've already heard it all. It doesn't even,
That's true.
We've built up an inner armor to deflect it. So shaming doesn't even work.
And we don't even need to hear shaming from anybody else because we are the worst critics of ourselves and we're shaming ourselves constantly.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I had to write, I'm doing a roast for another podcaster, and they said, well, we don't really know that much about you. Can you tell us what it is? And I was writing roast jokes, and they were like, you really want us to say that? And I was like, yeah, but see, the thing is that we are really bad on ourselves. And you people, you thin people that think, shaming a fat person will help them, and, you feel good. Don't feel good about it. It's just your way of, it's not helping. We don't want to, we actually want to punch you in the face, or at least in the throat. Yeah, we want to do that. We don't need your help.
I don't care. I'll eat you. I'll sit on you. If you call me fat, I'll show you how fat I can be. Trust me.
Trust me. If you call me fat, prepare for a onslaught of me looking you up and down and picking out every flaw on your body, because I am very good at that. Really? I'm fat? Yeah, what about that hooked tooth you got over there and that left eye that goes a little bit to the right? Yeah, I know. Why don't you get some of that fixed and then come over back and talk to me?
I mean, luckily, I don't think I've ever dealt with anybody in recent times in my adult years who have been so audacious as to actually come up to me and say you're fat. So luckily, I don't think that happens in modern day society.
Well, they say there's only one perfect man that walked the earth, and they nailed him to a cross. So listen, we all have our flaws and faults. So, all right, what do you say we get out of here?
All right. Everybody in the group, we love you so much. Thank you for coming to our live recording. That's been wonky. Sorry.
Yeah, that's. Are we out of it now, right?
No, we're back in.
Oh, we're back in. It's back up.
Yeah.
Look at us. All right. And if you want to be part of the group and you're listening, we would love to have you. Just go to hatetoweight.com/Facebook, sign up, answer one little question, and you're in. All right, Emily, I got to turn this ship around.
All right, John.
Third week in a row, I got to gain. Next week.
No. You were -1 3 weeks ago. So for episode 41, you were -1.
Then,
last week, you were up 3.
And this week, 5.
You're up 5.
I thought I was.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
It's okay.
Got to turn it around.
You've done worse, but you've also done better.
Right.
So you can do it. At least you know you can do it.
You know what's going through my head right now? Turn this weight around.
Not to feel scale movement.
Look at you. All right, everybody. Goodbye.
Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it down. Okay. Bye.